Welcome to the presentation on CNC Manufacturing. So, in order to understand CNC, we have to understand first what does CNC stand for. So CNC stands for Computer Numeric Control, hence CNC. And basically what it is it was created to allow manufacturing or the making of parts, make them more accurate, quicker, easier, and safer. And what we see here is actually one of the early CNC machines. This whole thing over here is a computer, and this is the actual machine. This is an example of a punch card. So it's hard to see because it was a little small, but a lot of these numbers are punched out. They actually have holes in them. That's what told the computer how to basically run the machine. So a programmer would have to physically punch these cards through a machine and then feed it into the machine to program it. Pretty crazy when you think about what we have available right now. So what did we do before CNC? Well, just like this guy right here, we did everything pretty much by hand. But we can more accurately is we controlled the machines by hand. With CNC, the computer controls the machine. So there's 5 basic general steps to the CNC process. The first one is what we know as design. So that's thinking and planning what you want to build. The second one is CAD, which we'll learn in a minute, stands for Computer-Aided Design. That's drawing your design on the computer. The third thing is CAM, or Computer-Aided Manufacturing. That's converting the CAD drawing into a machine language that the CNC machine will understand. Controlling, that's number 4. It's telling the machine exactly how to move and to machine your part. And then finally is the actual act of machining, which is how the part is created. The design phase, that's the next phase of manufacturing. So the design questions you have to ask yourself in the project requirements are this. What size will the part be? What material will the part be made out of? Will it be plastic? Will it be metal? Or will it be wood? Most of our projects here in this lab will be made out of wood. Who is the customer? Well, in this particular instance in this lab, it's going to be yourself. What will it be used for? Will it be used for part or art? So a part would be mechanical components, so something that's actually going to have a use to them, something that will make something work, like for a machine. Or is it for art, a non-functional decorative piece, like a sign that we make? The CAD phase, that's the next phase. So computer-aided design is what CAD stands for. It was developed back in the 1960s, and basically it addressed a need for more accuracy for manufacturing blueprints, or manufacturing prints, which were known as blueprints. And here's an example. This is different views of the part that needs to be machined. You can see the dimensions on here, very small, different holes that need to be machined out. This is an example of how CAD, or computer-aided design, helps make things. So there's 2 basic types of CAD. There's 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional, or 2D and 3D. Well, 2-dimensional only deals with the X and Y axis. Your X axis goes left and right, and then up and down is your Y axis. But if we add a 3rd dimension to it, X, Y, and Z, your Z axis is now the vertical. Your X axis is left and right, and your Y axis is forward and backward. So the CAD software, either 2D or 3D. 3D can actually do 2D, so that's kind of an interesting part of it. There's some freeware software available, and that's what I like to use, but you can spend up to thousands of dollars on it. And the more expensive software allows a lot of people to work more easily on the same project. And that's really important when you're dealing with professional manufacturing. So the important thing to note about the CAD phase, there's 2 critical things that you do. First, you need to define the size of the part to be made. And in my lab, we actually tell you what the size of the stock you're going to use. And secondly, you're going to create your geometries. And a geometry is considered a circle, an arc, a text, and all the other, quote, things that you can do given the tools that we'll use to make the part. We'll talk about tools here in a few minutes. Note that you can only create geometries that your tool will be able to physically accomplish. In other words, if I have a bit or an end mill and I want to cut something smaller than that, I can't do it because I can't shrink that end mill. The CAM phase, or computer-aided manufacturing. So what is CAM? CAM is considered computer-aided manufacturing, and that's what takes our design into machine code. This is exactly where we tell the CNC machine exactly what to do and when to do it. Like, where is the stock located and how big is it? What tool are we going to use? And how fast do we remove the material, which is called feeds and speeds? So G code, or G&M code, we call it G code for short. This is the machine code that the CAM software creates to tell the machine exactly how to run our program. And if you make changes to the CAM program, you have to make a new G code file. This is an example of G code, or geometric code. There's lots of lines of code. This is just a small sample of one. Modern CNC software makes this for us, so we don't have to do any of this typing, thankfully. All right, let's talk about the machining phase. We're almost there. So these are examples of some pretty cool signs that have been made using a CNC machine, specifically a CNC router, which we use a small version here in the lab. So when we create signs in here, we use something called Easel. Easel is free. It's easy to learn. It's web-based, so we can work on it anywhere just by logging into a web browser. And we can make signs and parts, but mostly made from wood and plastic, and we usually focus on sign making in this lab. All right, so let's finish this up talking about tooling. How we cut material. That's what we mean by tooling. So end mills, also known as, or aka bits. These are several different varieties of bits that we're going to talk about. So the first one is a straight bit. Now this one is a little bit, just from this angle, it looks like it's angled, but if we turn it the other way, it actually isn't. There's a straight cutting edge on the end of that bit, or end mill. And when it spins around, it's just going to cut at the bottom, or depending on how deep we're going, it would also cut on the side as well. This is called a ball nose end mill. And a ball nose is because the end is rounded, and we use that for a lot of detail work in our CNC machining processes. There's a couple more here. Here's a V-bit, and it gets its name from this V shape that it makes. It's an upside down V at the end. An upcut or a downcut, and that depends on which way that these flutes, they're called, is oriented. And then we have what's called a surfacing bit, or an end mill. And the surfacing end mill, if we flipped it around, we could actually mill or machine a flat area, a big flat area, by spinning this around and moving it around on our flat surface, or to make a surface flat. So that's the end of the presentation on how CNC, the process, works. Just a big general overview. And I'm going to leave you with this. It says, being a maker, just create every day. One of the coolest things that we can do is to make something out of seemingly nothing. To take a piece of material, a piece of wood, a piece of plastic, a piece of metal, and make something cool that no one has ever seen before. Hope you learned something more about CNC that you didn't know before, and I hope you can use this information to make something cool. Thanks for watching.